The film begins by showing a big building in Antwerp, Belgium, where they keep lots of diamonds. It's called the World's Diamond Center, and it has a super safe to protect the diamonds. This safe is said to be the safest place ever because it has really fancy security. Then, there's a guy named Leonardo Notarbartolo, but his friends call him Leo. He's a professional thief, and he leads a team of robbers. His team includes Gigo, Sandra, and Alberto. They're all really good at different things. We don't know exactly when this happened, but at some point, they managed to steal diamonds from the super safe. On their way back home, they got scared because they saw a police car behind them. But luckily, the police car was just passing by. Here, we can know that each member of the team has a special job. Sandra is really good with keys, so they call her the queen of key experts. Alberto is great at hacking into stuff, and Gigo knows a lot about alarms. Back at their hideout, the team started packing up everything they used for the robbery. They deleted important files and got rid of their cell phones. At that time, Leo told them to only communicate in emergencies, and if they needed to, they could reach out to Alberto. Soon after, they all left separately, making sure to destroy any evidence they had. Meanwhile, a detective named Albert, who was in charge of protecting the Diamond Center, was supposed to get an award. But he never got it because his team told him that someone had broken into the diamond safe. This news spread quickly and became known as a dark moment in the city's history. The safe was supposed to be super secure, and losing all those diamonds was a huge deal, worth about $1 billion. When Albert arrived at the scene, he felt really embarrassed. The safe door wasn't even scratched, which meant that the thieves must have hacked the security system somehow, even though it had a crazy number of combinations. At that time, one of the security guards who got hurt during the robbery was really mad at whoever did it. Shortly after, the director of the Diamond Center, Judith DeWitt, held a press conference to say that the police were investigating. And there, Leo showed up acting like he was just a regular jewelry seller. At that time, Albert thought the thieves must have been pros who had help from some powerful people. Plus, they made mistakes that would eventually catch up with them. In another place, Judith said sorry to Leo because the robbers took one of his safes. There, Leo pretends like he doesn't know and told her it was his last treasure. At that time, it seems like they both have feelings for each other. Shortly after the diamond robbery, Leo's wife named Anna from Italy called him cause she feel worried. Her military family told Leo to stay calm because the detective in charge, Albert, was good at his job. But Leo was secretly happy about something. Meanwhile, Albert told his team, Kadir and Nadine, to focus on catching the robbers. The scene changes to Champalic, where Alberto is skiing. There, he looked worried when he saw a security camera. On the other hand, Gigo was at his mom's place in Busolino, and he likes to flirt with women. Meanwhile, Sandra visited her dad in prison in Turin. There, he told her he was proud of her. Back at the hospital, Leo left his phone in the bathroom with the water running to prevent anyone from listening in. There, he met a patient named Levi, who he called his mentor. The next day, Leo was going back to Turin, Italy. Then, a gem expert named Ludwig told Albert that the diamond they found in the safe was fake, made in a lab. Real diamonds take millions of years to form, but synthetic ones are made quickly with cheap materials. Because of this, Albert got a warning from the Minister of Home Affairs. Meanwhile, 16 kilometers from Antwerp, the police found trash that they thought the diamond robbers threw away. There, Kadir found one of the diamonds there, and another officer found a receipt from a hardware store for robbery tools. On the other hand, Leo was pretending to be sad and talking to his wife and in-laws. Then, suddenly, the police showed up to arrest him for the diamond robbery. At that time, Leo acted like he didn't know why he was being arrested and asked to talk to the embassy because he was Italian. But Albert threatened to put him in jail for 30 years and wouldn't let him see his family. Leo felt scared being around other criminals. There, Albert wanted Leo to confess to the crimes and give back the real diamond, but Leo kept denying everything. Soon after, he showed Leo a receipt for tools used to break into the safe, but Leo said he used those tools for something else. He was surprised the receipt was found in the forest. Albert promised a fair punishment if Leo confessed, but Leo kept avoiding it. Finally, Albert got angry and ordered Kadir to put Leo in a dirty cell and take him away in a prison car. In the end, Leo was locked up in jail. 2 days after the robbery, Albert found out that Leo was actually a successful jewelry trader with an office in the Diamond Center building. He didn't have a criminal record except for a small ticket from Italian Interpol. Albert knew the purchase invoice wasn't enough proof, so he told his team to find stronger evidence to take Leo to court. Turns out, since he was a kid, Leo had been stealing money from his parents, even lying to his mom. He first saw the diamond boxes when he went to PBD with Levi. There were 500 boxes with diamonds worth $1 billion inside. At that time, Leo needed help with his plans, so he asked Gigo to join again. At first, Gigo said no because he didn't want to end up like his dad in jail. But he needed money, so he agreed. Since Gigo's dad was in prison, they decided to ask Sandra for help. Sandra was really good at making duplicate keys for safes and made good money doing it. Leo and Gigo met Sandra at her hardware store. At first, Sandra thought the robbery idea was crazy, but Leo kept convincing her. He said he'd plan everything, even if it took months. At the same time, Albert arrested a repeat offender named Simon for the same case. There, he asked Simon to gather info about Leo and what he did during the diamond robbery. After Leo got arrested, the police searched his in-laws' house, even though Leo's father-in-law was a police general. In that moment, Anna couldn't believe Leo was a diamond thief. 500 days before the robbery, Leo took Anna to see the shop where they planned to sell jewelry. At that time, Leo didn't have money, so he asked Anna's dad for a loan to start the business, and he agreed for the sake of his daughters. Next, Leo got an office at PBD with help from Levi. There, Levi taught him basic stuff like how to pick diamonds and figure out their quality and value. Afterward, Leo had to gain Judith's trust next. Meanwhile, Kadir and Nadine asked Judith about Leo, who they thought had made a big jump in the diamond business. At that time, Kadir suspected Judith was hiding something. For 100 days before the robbery, Leo convinced Alberto, who turned out to be his own brother, to join him. Even though Alberto refused at first, Leo's persuasion eventually worked. At that time, Judith agreed to let Leo open an office at PBD. Then, Levi showed up and demanded 10% of the robbery's value because he already knew Leo was a robber. Upon hearing that, Leo had to agree, or his whole plan would fail. Then, Leo studied the PBD building for months, using a hidden camera to check all the security cameras and guards. He recorded everything to show Sandra and Gigo back in Italy. If they wanted to join the robbery, Leo would explain his plan in Belgium and split the money equally. Upon hearing that, Sandra and Gigo agreed to join him, and they all flew to Belgium, ready to rob the PBD building. 3 days after the robbery, Leo wondered how the police got the purchase receipt. He wasn't sure if it was his team's mistake or if someone did it on purpose. Meanwhile, Kadir suspected Judith was involved with Leo, but Albert didn't want to act on just a hunch. While all this was happening, Nadine gave her identity file to Denise Kemal, a cleaner at PBD who had gone missing. Then, a lawyer named John offered to help Leo, but only if he returned the diamonds he stole from John's client. In return, John promised to spare Leo's life. But Leo wasn't fooled. He knew John was sent by Albert to trick him, so he avoided getting involved. There, John threatened Leo to reveal where the diamonds were hidden, but Leo stayed strong. Here, it was known that diamonds are made of carbon atoms arranged in a special pattern deep inside the earth over millions of years. Before they're sold, experts carefully cut and polish diamonds to make them into beautiful, expensive jewelry. At the same time, John showed a list of people who claimed Leo's stolen diamonds. First was Dolores, who hid diamonds in her hair, then a cartel boss named Erasmo Matapalo, followed by a Zimbabwean separatist named Kenda Obweda, a mafia boss named Cosa Nostra, and even a leader named Abdul Basit. At that moment, they threatened to harm Anna if Leo didn't tell them where the diamonds were, as shown by a photo their sniper got. Not wanting his wife to be hurt, Leo admitted to stealing the diamonds, but he didn't know where his friends hid them. Leo didn't just want to give up his friends, so he promised to return the diamonds if he was let out of jail first. 200 days before the robbery, Leo and his team met to plan. There, he found a small hole in the PBD security. They would use an employee entrance to get to a utility room, then go through an armored door. So, every night from 8 to 11 p.m., the alarm system at the building goes off to give the cleaners time, but they always finish about 20 minutes early. They use this time to turn off the security system periodically. And the safe, made of iron and concrete, weighs up to 15 tons, and is buried under the building. It has various locks and combinations and sensors for motion, heat, light, and earthquakes. Meanwhile, Albert interrogates Denise Kemal's cousin. He admitted that Denise went to Ankara after seeing Leo getting arrested. On the other hand, while stuck in prison, Leo tries to contact his team. In the busy yard, he sees various deals happening. At that time, he notices someone selling small knives and asks to speak to their boss. The boss knows Leo is a diamond robber and charges him $2,000 for a 3-minute call. Hearing that, Leo agrees, even though it's expensive. Long story short, Leo contacts Alberto to find out why the note ended up with the police. Even though Alberto doesn't know, he needs to find out if Sandra or Gigo did it. At that time, Leo fails to contact Anna again. After they talk, she asks the consulate for help, but they tell her to wait. On the other hand, while claiming to be Leo's lawyer, John met with Albert. There, John asked for Leo to be released from prison because there wasn't enough evidence to keep him as a suspect in the diamond robbery. Even though the police chief refused, John said he would still apply for Leo's release to the court. Meanwhile, Kadir got a call from Ankara. Denise has been found and is being flown to Brussels. Albert assigned Kadir to pick her up. 200 days before the robbery, Leo got news that Gigo had been robbed. Soon after, Leo and the team quickly picked up Gigo, who was walking because he ran out of money. There, Gigo explained that a woman at the bar flirted with him, and they both went to a hotel. But she ended up stealing all his money. That night, the team got to work. They went to the PBD building to hack its security system while the janitor was gone. Sandra showed off her lock-picking skills, and Alberto hacked the CCTV cameras from the car so the security guard wouldn't see them. Now, it's Gigo's turn to hack the alarm system, but they only had 20 minutes. At the same time, Denise realized she left her wallet and went back to the building. Because she goes back, Alberto alerted the team, and Leo tried to stop Denise, but it turned out to be a false alarm. Then, they realized the control unit Gigo saw was fake, just a decoy. To find the real control unit, they needed the building's blueprint with a digital facial recognition sensor. Leo planned to ask Levi for help, but Levi was rushed to the hospital. Soon after, Director Judith visited Levi in the hospital, and Leo met her there. At that time, they seemed to like each other again. 6 days after the robbery, Denise Kemal was questioned. She admitted that Leo gave her money to put something in Judith's room, but it was just origami paper. Leo had used it to invite Judith to dinner. The next day, John returned to prison and asked Leo to tell him about all his trusted people. Leo was surprised when John mentioned Judith's name. According to his police informant, Judith was suspected of wanting to harm Leo. The movie flashes back to when Leo planned to get the alarm system schematics from Judith. At that time, Gigo couldn't believe Leo was able to charm Judith. In the morning, Leo invited Judith to dinner with a message on origami paper, but she refused, and Leo's plan failed. Undeterred, Leo asked his brother to investigate Judith further. After Alberto hacked into her computer, he found Judith's sexy photo. After the robbery, Albert questioned Judith about her relationship with Leo. He showed her the origami paper mentioned by Denise, but Judith didn't say anything. Even when Albert threatened to arrest her, Judith asked for until tomorrow morning to explain. The following day, Anna arrived in Belgium and went straight to the Antwerp City Police Station. Alberto told the team that Judith regularly attended parties at a special location. They thought it was a chance for Leo to win her over. However, Leo hesitated because he was loyal to his wife, but he agreed to go with Sandra. Soon after, they dressed up and went to the party. Meanwhile, Leo explained to his wife that he was meeting an Indian client. To calm her nerves, Anna decided to practice shooting with her father. At the party, Leo found Judith. She was surprised but happy to see him. They embraced, but Judith asked him to keep their meeting a secret. Meanwhile, Anna meets Albert because she's not allowed to see her husband in prison. At that time, she's convinced he's innocent and won't leave until Albert lets her visit him. The next morning, Leo goes to see Judith in her office, and she finally opens up to him. Leo tells her he wants to expand his jewelry business and needs an office plan from the building. Soon after, Judith takes him to the file warehouse. At the same time, Alberto hacks the system to turn off the lights. Then, Leo takes the chance to find the alarm control system's location in the blueprints and shares the photos with his team. At that moment, Gigo discovers it's right under the diamond safe. Meanwhile, John warns Judith that if she talks, Leo's in trouble. There, Judith feels betrayed and deceived. At the same time, Leo worries his wife might do the same. Then, he begs John to help Judith keep it a secret from the authorities. All day, Anna stayed at the police station. At the same time, Judith got a surprise visit from John, who said he was Leo's lawyer. There, John told Judith not to threaten or intimidate Detective Albert, and he gave her a business card with Anna's phone number on it. On the other hand, Anna was still at the police station the next morning. Then, Albert let her visit her husband in prison. But Albert also called a reporter about the diamond theft case in Judith. The next day, Judith wasn't sure whether to call Anna and tell her about her affair with Leo or keep it to herself. Meanwhile, Anna was getting ready to go to prison. When Leo saw the news about his affair with Judith and Anna, he was shocked. It turns out Albert had leaked the news to force Judith to confess all of Leo's robbery plans. When Anna got to the prison, she was really upset with Leo. She felt like he had lied to her. Leo tried to explain that Albert had set him up to make him look bad, but Anna was hurt and didn't trust him anymore. She had planned to go to Leo's office in Belgium, but he told her to wait for 3 weeks. In that moment, Anna started to feel suspicious about her husband, who seemed too comfortable in Antwerp. Little did she know, he was planning a huge robbery. Meanwhile, Albert remembered some old tunnels under the city that could help them get past the alarm system at the PBD building. They used the noise of passing trains to cover their drilling. Even though they got a bit lost, they finally made it to the spot where they could get to the diamonds. They had to wait for trains to pass so they wouldn't set off any alarms. Turns out, their first try worked, but they had to wait a lot for the next train. Then, Judith sent Leo a message saying he had urgent business at her office. Upon knowing that, Leo got worried and had to leave his team to go see her. Back in the tunnel, Leo returned and they started drilling again until they broke through the concrete. They inserted a small camera into the hole to check the alarm system. According to Alberto, the alarm system was super high-tech, with a really powerful computer and special technology to stop burglars. But the team had to figure out a clever way to hack it. Back at their base, the team looked disappointed, like their plan had failed. Without Leo knowing, Anna secretly went to Belgium. Leo had given her an address, but it turned out to be a bar. When Anna showed up at Leo's door, he was shocked. There, Anna was mad because she heard another woman's voice. In that moment, Leo finally confessed that he and his team were planning a huge robbery to steal from the Diamond Center. Anna was shocked and almost passed out. After 20 years of marriage, Anna felt betrayed. She slapped Leo and stormed out. Even though he's a robber, he still loves her. Soon after, he tried to chase after her, but couldn't find her. The story changes as Anna visits Leo in prison. At that time, she plans to go back to Italy but gets a message from Judith asking to meet her. There, Anna arrives just in time for Judith's press conference where Judith denies having any romantic relationship with Leo. Instead, she accuses the police of spreading lies and not focusing on the robbery case. After the conference, Judith meets Anna and tells her about her relationship with Leo. Upon hearing that, Anna felt betrayed and goes back to the prison where she slaps Leo, hoping he'll get punished for his crimes. Soon after, Anna returns to Italy while Albert gets a call from Simon who wants to help him. At that time, Albert sees footage of Gigo giving a note to Sandra to throw in the trash. At the same time, Anna contacts Albert, saying she has a message from Leo. Later, they meet in the mountains where Anna tells Albert how worried she is about Leo. Shortly after, Albert gives her an envelope, unaware that Anna is actually angry with Leo. At that time, Anna made a tough decision to join Leo's robbery plan. Even though it seemed like a bad idea, she felt trapped because she had been married to Leo, who had been lying to her for 20 years. Even though the team doubted her, they had to remember that her father-in-law was a high-ranking police officer. If Anna exposed their secret, the whole plan would fail. So, Leo decided to pretend to involve Anna until things cooled down. Meanwhile, Gigo tells the story of Sandra's father getting caught while trying to steal the Savoy crown jewels. Vito thought the robbery would be easy, but he got stuck when he tried to open the safe. At that time, Leo and his team got away, but Sandra's father was caught. Elsewhere, Leo contacted Alberto because his bills in prison were piling up. But Leo was shocked to learn that Alberto had given information to Anna to track down Gigo and Sandra, who had betrayed them. Alberto had just found out that Anna already knew about Leo and Judith's affair, and Anna wanted to take revenge on Leo. Meanwhile, Sandra was given 2 hours by Leo to open 500 boxes. That means she only had 15 seconds for each box of diamonds. Leo had prepared 200 similar exercises for Sandra to practice. The next day, Sandra goes to Bulgaria to study a door similar to the one at PBD. It's super strong, covered in steel, with 20 grooves and 5 fake anti-vandal levers. There are 20 different combinations for the 5 keys, making a whopping 3.2 million number combos to crack. Plus, there's a 4-digit electronic code that only the owner knows. Soon after, Sandra starts practicing picking the lock with her fingers. In another place, Simon agrees to help Albert catch the diamond thieves if he's released from house arrest. Previously, Simon heard rumors that Leo made a deal with some Indians to hide his stolen diamonds. They bought them at a discount to take over Antwerp whenever they wanted. Then, Simon tells Albert that the info he needs is in a Panamanian bank. Following the money will lead them to Pradeep Kumar, a spiritual leader with millions of followers in India. Back with the robbers, they're gearing up with surveillance cameras and special tools to crack open 500 safe boxes fast. One tool isn't enough, so they make 2 to speed up the process. Back at their base, Sandra revealed it took them 23 hours to crack the digital code. Only the security guard and the PBD director know it. Since Leo chose the director, he asked Anna to let him take Judith to dinner to distract her while his team searched her house for the combination. At that time, Anna started feeling jealous, but Leo didn't mention his affair with Judith, saying they were just friends. Reluctantly, Anna agreed to let Leo invite Judith to dinner. Meanwhile, the team scoped out Judith's apartment from the top of a building. Anna grew even more jealous seeing Judith looking attractive in a towel. That night, while Leo picked up Judith, the team snuck into her apartment and searched every corner for the combination. At that time, Sandra managed to grab an origami paper, worried it might have a message from Leo. On the other hand, Judith was becoming more interested in Leo and wanted to take him back to her apartment. Leo, panicking because his team was still trying to break into the safe, took Judith to another location to talk. Unable to find an excuse, he blurted out that he wanted to marry her. Meanwhile, they found nothing in the safe, but Alberto discovered something shocking on Leo's computer. Back again to Judith, she turned down Leo's proposal because she thought it was too sudden. She needed time to think, so she went home alone in a taxi. Meanwhile, Gigo told Leo they were in big trouble. 12 days after the robbery, John came to see Leo in prison. He had evidence to convict Leo, including a voice recording of him selling diamonds to Pradeep Kumar. John said he'd provide more evidence if Leo was released, but Albert needed time to decide. On the other hand, Anna found Gigo at a public bathhouse. She shocked him by showing CCTV footage of him and Sandra putting a note in the trash. This was proof they betrayed Leo. If they didn't want Anna to go to the police, they had to split the loot 3 ways. At the same time, Albert found data on Judith's computer showing they were going to upgrade the security system. They had 2 options: which to wait a long time for it to be done, or carry out the robbery as soon as possible. On the other hand, Anna planned to use her gun to threaten the security guard for the combination code, but Leo refused. He didn't want their smart robbery to turn into an armed one. Long story short, the final plan was set 10 hours before the robbery. So, Alberto would be in the underground tunnel ready to hack into the safe's computer system. Leo and Sandra would get the combination from the security guard, while Gigo and Sandra would break into the safe. After the robbery, they would split up. Leo told Anna to fly to Paris, then take another plane to Italy. Leo had to stay in Antwerp for a few days to avoid suspicion. But then, Anna got emotional again because Leo couldn't leave Judith right away. Shockingly, Sandra started convincing Gigo to betray Leo, saying Leo's greed got his father in prison. After the robbery, they should split the loot in half. The next day, when Leo visited Levi at the hospital, he learned Levi had been fooled by a fake diamond seller. So, Leo decided to use fake diamonds to buy time for his robbery plan. Meanwhile, Judith felt confused after turning down Leo's proposal. She sent him an apology message, which made Leo happy. 2 hours before the robbery, Leo showed the team his fake diamond. Then, On Valentine's Eve, they got into action. Alberto turned off the cameras as the team entered the PBD building. He kept hacking to shut down security and cameras. Soon after, they quickly got to the safe room. At that time, Gigo and Sandra started working on the alarm and safe door. As for Leo and Anna, they went to the security guard's office to get the combination code. In that moment, they wore disguises. Soon after, Gigo disabled the alarm sensor. Afterward, Sandra used her skills to tackle the world's safest door. While they searched for the code, Leo and Anna argued, and the guard woke up. Anna knocked him out, worried he might recognize Leo's eyes and voice. Finally, Sandra completed the first step of opening the safe. With careful precision, Sandra continued her second step and successfully completed it. Now, the team had 2 hours left to open all their boxes of diamonds. When Alberto said they had only 4 minutes left, they quickly grabbed their loot and ran. In the present time, John kept Leo company as they waited for Albert's decision. Leo had only 12 hours left. John told Leo about negotiating with a separatist group holding his client hostage. Despite the danger, the client seemed calm. At that time, Leo worried John's plan to free him might fail. Meanwhile, Albert sent his men to attack Pradeep Kumar's house and office to retrieve the diamonds. Based on Simon's information, Albert seemed to have firmly refused John's request to release Leo. Upon knowing that, the police team began to take action. At that moment, Pradeep Kumar, who was with his congregation, was shocked by the search. He was arrested for allegedly collecting stolen diamonds. This caused a huge uproar as Pradeep Kumar had many followers, and thousands protested against his arrest. Then, Albert questioned Pradeep Kumar about his involvement in collecting diamonds stolen by Leo and his gang. However, the diamonds seized from Pradeep Kumar turned out to be genuine, but they weren't from the PBD safe. Outside the police station, things got chaotic with protests from Pradeep Kumar's followers. Long story short, Leo felt sorry for his situation in prison because of his desire for gems. Meanwhile, Albert found out that the diamonds taken from Pradeep Kumar weren't the ones stolen from the diamond vault. On the other hand, Alberto informed Leo that they were heading to Antwerp, and Anna, Gigo, and Sandra were also coming. Leo was shocked and told Alberto to keep following them. Meanwhile, Albert was shocked when the mayor and prosecutor played a tape of him making offensive remarks about Indians, recorded secretly by John. At that time, John threatened to leak it to the media. Also, due to the anger caused by a misguided diamond raid, Albert was forced to resign from his position. This time, John visited Leo in prison with good news about his release. But before leaving, Leo had to settle his debt with the prison authorities, which amounted to $60,000. Because of that, John had to use his own money to pay it off. Meanwhile, feeling cheated, Albert, filled with anger, went to Simon's house. But Simon had already left, leaving behind letters and photos to mock him. It was revealed that John's client was actually Simon. On the other hand, Simon demanded the diamonds in exchange for Leo's release, feeling Leo copied his robbery plan. At first, Leo refused, thinking he was already out of prison. But John had recorded Leo's confessions with a hidden camera pin. If Leo didn't comply, John would give the evidence to the police, sending him back to prison. Soon after, Leo and his team were taken away. Meanwhile, Alberto was monitoring the hotel where Leo's team stayed, but his car was unexpectedly taken away by traffic police. 10 days before the robbery, Leo asked his team to agree to hide the loot for about a year so it wouldn't draw attention. After that, they would split it. At that time, Sandra had prepared a special box that only she could open to store the stolen diamonds. Here, Leo came up with a clever plan that no police officer would ever suspect. He gathered all the stolen diamonds in one place and didn't take them away. Instead, he hid them in safe number 103, a safe the police didn't search because it was private. Since the beginning, Leo booked the safe under the name of Ezra Cohen, actually Gigo in disguise. Meanwhile, due to problems within Leo's team, Gigo, Sandra, and Anna planned to retrieve the diamonds from the PBD. Leo shared this plan with John and Simon. On their way, they were attacked by Raphael and his gang. At that time, Gigo was worried his disguise might be discovered. Meanwhile, Leo was put in the electric chair because the mafia boss wanted his stolen diamonds back. Despite being shocked multiple times, Leo stayed silent. He didn't want to reveal where the diamonds were because he feared for Anna's safety. However, the boss promised not to harm Anna if she returned the diamonds. On the other hand, right after leaving the diamond building, Gigo was suddenly attacked by a mafia gang. At the same time, Anna and Sandra faced Leo, who was also there. The mafia boss demanded someone open the box, and Leo told Sandra to do it because only she could. Meanwhile, Alberto was spotted sneaking around the mafia boss's house and got caught. When the box was opened, it was empty, causing the boss to get upset. The robbers started blaming each other. There, Leo accused Sandra and Gigo of planning it to betray him and Anna. Because the boss trusted Leo more, Sandra and Gigo were captured, while Leo, Anna, and Alberto were set free. Meanwhile, Anna still resented Leo and didn't want to be near him, even though Leo wanted to share the good news that the diamond was safe. The truth came out when Leo met Levi to ask for synthetic diamonds and mentioned his safe at PBD. There, Leo had noticed suspicious behavior from Gigo and Sandra. Without their knowledge, Leo swapped the boxes and hid the diamond in Levi's. The next day, Levi and Anna went into PBD to retrieve the diamonds, while Leo and Alberto waited in the car. They found the billion-dollar diamond in Levi's box. However, only Levi was seen leaving PBD cause Anna's whereabouts were unknown. It turned out Anna ran off with all the diamonds, leaving Leo behind in poverty. Now, Leo spent 10 years in prison. After his release, he never returned to Antwerp. 20 years passed, but the diamond remained unfound, and that's how the film ended. The moral lesson from this film is if you're planning a heist, make sure your team doesn't have a habit of switching sides like musical chairs, or you might end up poorer than a pigeon in a popcorn shop.